Hey guys, time to do another video. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Last one was on day 5 and we are now up to day 17. So yeah, that's a long time between drinks. So quick update to say where we've been. So last time I did one of these we were in Monkey Mire. That was actually a really good night, that one. After I did that, we met up with a few people there, Sam and Laura and Will and Bonnie. So that was good. Had a good night having a chat with them. And then the next day we went from Monkey Mire to Carnarvon. So that was a nice little trip there. Caught up with Chris and Ish, and then we went out to the Gassy, as you do when you're in Carnarvon. You can't go to Carnarvon without going to one of its many pubs. So yeah, the next day we went. Yeah, we're going to go camping at the blowholes that night, so we just took Crystal around Carnarvon town a little bit, went out to 1 Mile Jetty, and then took her around some of the, like the bridge in Carnarvon, and just showed her where all the floodwaters got up to, because it's not an easy thing to understand, I think, when you come, especially from Europe, when you come to a place like the Pilbara and the Kimberley, and it's so bloody hot, and then you've got all this water suddenly coming in, you know, and when you say a river got to 7 metres deep, you know, it's one thing to say that, it's another thing to actually pull up and say, you know, this is where it was, you know. Yeah, so after that we went out to the blowholes and just a nice relaxing night there, and yeah, took it easy, and went out on the beach, threw jellyfish at each other, which is, you know, it sounds silly, but it was good fun. Then the next day was driving to Coral Bay, so most of that day was sort of driving there. You know, we stopped at the blowholes for a bit and took a few photos on the way out, but yeah, straight to the blowholes, and then straight to Coral Bay, where we went four-wheel driving for a bit. Yeah, had some fun four-wheel driving. I need to take a drink because there were some pretty scary moments in there. There was one, I came up to this hill, and I had a couple of goes at getting over it, but the car was not getting up, so I just sort of parked up to the side and we went walking, and about 20-30 metres down the road there was basically a drop into the ocean, and rocks on one side, rocks on the other, and there was no way in hell I was getting my car out of there, so that was a bit of luck there. And we just sort of kept following these four-wheel driving tracks around, and yeah, got to, where was it? Some place called the Lagoon, and it was beautiful. You know, you have to understand, we'd rocked up at Coral Bay on Easter Saturday, so there were people everywhere. You know, you couldn't turn around without hitting somebody. But yeah, this little place called the Lagoon, we got there were 3 cars there, and everybody was just being so nice and quiet and swimming, and it was absolutely beautiful. Now the only downside to it was that I got bogged. I did it proper. Front left and rear right wheel spinning, and tried to use the max tracks but wasn't getting enough traction on them, and in the end luckily there was still a car left behind when we were there, and they just sort of towed me backwards a bit, got me out of there, and there was another path that went around, so we took that one instead, and yeah, got out luckily, and like I said, luckily there was somebody there that could do that for us and get us out of the shit. So next day, Crystal actually stayed in Coral Bay. She decided she liked it there so much she'd stay for a little bit longer. Whereas, you know, had the timetable to keep, so I kept going north and went up to Exmouth. So Exmouth was actually really quite nice. Like, I say that about everywhere pretty much, but the thing I liked about it a lot was there was a lot of World War II history around there that I didn't realise was there, you know. I've been up to Exmouth once before, but we stayed out at Yardie Creek and went fishing most of the time, so I didn't really see a lot of that, but no, it was pretty cool. When you know, talking about, there was Operation Jaywick, which went, you know, they had some Singaporean fishing boat that they'd captured and gone up to Singapore and just sort of anchored there and rowed boats in and blew up something like 37,000 tonnes of supplies that were being used in the war. So that was pretty cool. And there was a bit about Operation Potshot, which is actually the pub that Tyler Hill works at, Popular, yeah, that's named after this operation, which was basically a resupply base for the US submarine there in World War II as well. So yeah, so after I got in there, I took it fairly easy that night. Just sort of set up, decided that it was too hard to put the roof on the camper myself, so I went out and bought a shade shelter, which I'm sitting in now, because it just pops up nice and easy. Whereas the other one, takes 3 people put up in the wind. It was not going to do it on my own. So yeah, it got an easier option and just wrap a tarp around it so that it can have a bit of shade, which I'm using a lot right now. So yeah, next day just went for a drive around the point for Exmouth, because I stayed in like Exmouth town, not out of it. And yeah, first place I went was Bundaguy Beach, and I'm looking out on the beach and I said, oh, there's a little bonfire there sort of set up. It sort of looked like, but as I got closer, I went, no, there's not quite enough wood in there. And what I ended up deciding was that there was some naval exercise or military exercise that had happened there, and someone set up a little hut for themselves on the beach there, which was pretty cool. Also saw the wreck of the SS Mildura, which apparently directly contributed to them actually getting a lighthouse in the area. So got to have some good luck out of bad luck, I guess. And then continuing round into the national, well, up to the Lambing Head Lighthouse, which is the lighthouse that got put in after the wreck, and there was even things like the heritage listed sandbags. Yeah, who would have thought heritage listed sandbags? But there you go. And continuing around the point, came down to there was a little turtle centre there, which had some information on the turtles, but that was too late for the laying, and too late for the hatching as well, because the hatching I think sort of happens April time. And yeah, I tried chasing a few little footprints back, hoping I could maybe see a nest or something, but couldn't see anything there. Then round, one of the really awesome places I saw there was Mangrove Bay, because they had, not so much for the bay itself, but they had a bird hide there, which was hidden among the reeds and everything, and you could just walk in there and sit there and watch all the birds, and it was just so pleasant down there. But, yeah. And then I tried to get round to Turquoise Bay, but I got there and there was not a skerrick of parking to be had anywhere. Like, it was full, the people were parking, the places where you could sort of park but weren't supposed to park were even full. It was, yeah, lots happening there that day, so unfortunately I didn't get to snorkel. So yeah, after that it was on to Tom Price. So driving along through there, through Nanyatara, and the road that becomes an airstrip. I'd seen it before when been driving through that area, but it just sort of struck my eye, because I remember reading an article only a few days before I went through there about how people were surprised in places like in Europe where they were turning roads into airstrips, and all I could think of, well, I'm pretty sure we do that already here, but more for like emergencies rather than if your airports get bombed then the planes can land somewhere else, sort of thing. But that night, just stayed with Uncle Ross and had a good catch up with him and Tom Price. Only there for a night, and then off we went to Carragini. And Carragini, it was just absolutely beautiful. Like, with the amount of rain that they had, and even the temperature-wise, I'm in Hedland at the moment, and it is stinking hot here at the moment, and there's not even a wind to keep you cool. Carragini was, it was warm, but there was always a bit of a breeze, it seemed, to cool you down, or you could go hide in a gorge somewhere where it was nice and cool as well. But yeah, first night got in there about 3 or 4 o'clock and sort of set up, and thought, camping in Dale Gorge there, I'll go for a quick walk down to Fortescue Falls, and got there and went, look, there's another track that goes through to this other place called Fern Pool, so I walked through there, and I actually ran into Sam and Laura and Will and Lonnie again. So that was good. I had a chat with them and spent the next day or so doing stuff with them, which was really cool. But yeah, Fern Pool there, apparently I just missed all the excitement because there was an olive python who'd been busy climbing a tree and had jumped from one tree to another to get a bat, and was munching on the bat by the time I rocked up there. So that would have been pretty cool if I was able to have seen that. But yeah, the next day though, took a drive out to Weegee Gorge, which is about 40 minutes away from Dale Gorge, and that was just brilliant. I was umming and ahhing a bit because the walk down to trying to get down to Kermit Pool, where it said it was a Class 5 walk, which is the hardest walk that they've got in the national parks, and I thought, oh crap, I sort of died when I tried to do the Class 4 walk in Carragini, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. See, you're only here once, but, well, I'll probably hopefully we'll come back, but I'm here now, I don't know if I'll get back, so I'll give it a go. And I have to say, the first part was like really hard, but after that it all sort of levelled out, and the hard part was there were lots of rocks to walk on, but it was fairly flat, so that was, as long as you took your time and went slow and just small steps so you didn't slip over, that was pretty cool. So, but then you got down to, like, everybody I met on the way up said, if it looks like if it looks like the end, just keep going. And that happened about 3 or 4 times. It looked like, oh, I can't get down any further, and then, oh no, you can get further. And walking through, because the water levels are quite big there, so I just, you're walking through the actual water to get down the track. And so I've come down the walk to Kermit Pool up in Carragini, and if you have a look that way, that's where I came from, and that is where I'm going. It's going to be fun. And around Spider Walk, which was there was a little bit of a toss-up to whether it was going to be called Spider Walk because there were lots of spiders there, which there were a few big ones there, or if it was just that close in and you had to like use your hands and to help you get down, which that was also true as well. But it was just so awesomely peaceful down there. When I got down there, there was 2 dads and their kids and another couple there, and that we were the only people there. And after a while, the kids and the dads left, and it was just so peaceful. I just sort of sat there floating for like 20 minutes. So we're going to do an update tonight about what I've seen since the last video update. But I just thought I'll get back and I'll set up with the camera and I'll have my little notebook, but I just won't be able to capture the words that is Carragini. Like, we're at Kermit Pool at the moment, but it is just absolutely stunning. And a good third of this track is all in water as well, so I did start off by trying to take my shoes off, but me and my baby feet didn't go too well, so I put my shoes back on. But yeah, this place is just absolutely stunning. You need to come see it. Definitely put it on the bucket list. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And then I also on the way back. I also popped into Weegee Gorge, which was also entertaining. But yeah, I didn't get right down into it to have a swim or anything like that. But it was also beautiful as well, and found some people trying to climb it and find new and entertaining ways to kill themselves. So after that was my last day in Carragini. So that morning I just thought of, because Dale Gorge at one end is that Fortescue Falls and Fern Pool that I went to the first day, and at the other end is Circular Pool, and I thought, I might see if I can get down there, but after the walk yesterday my foot was not so good, so I just took it easy and just took some photos from the outlook of Circular Pool and then went out. And one thing that I wanted to do, and I'm not quite sure why, but it just sort of, I was that close, I thought I may as well give it a go, is go to Wittenoom. And for those of you who don't know, Wittenoom used to be the site of an asbestos mine, and there was some, this was before they discovered how bad asbestos was, and there were people there that died, and it was a terrible thing. And I just thought, well, I'm this close, I may as well just go around and have a look at what Wittenoom's like. And I tell you what, if you didn't know that it was there, you would miss it. Like, there are no signs up anywhere. The closest thing you got to a sign that would let you know you were in Wittenoom was one that said danger asbestos in the area. And yeah, that was it. There was a couple of old houses. I think it looked like there was one that someone was still living in, but yeah, other than that, you wouldn't have had a clue of anything that was there. It was but quite eerie in places, really. So yeah, continued on after that. Went for a drive on the sort of the top northern side of Carragini. Came to the Scourge there, and there was a sign right at the beginning that said make a call, you know, up south up the gorge. And I tell you what, I found out why they're doing that, because those roads got very, very narrow and there were trucks using it. So if you didn't call, then you know you'd be in the trouble, because you'd just see a truck come out of nowhere. And yeah, so you had to be aware going through there. But yeah, then I also pulled in at Hammersley Gorge to have a quick look there too. Once again, I just went to the lookout. I didn't stop for too long, and then off to Karratha and stayed with Stephen and Becky for the night, which was cool. And the Dockers were playing, so and they won, so Stephen was in a good mood when he woke up. But yeah, it was good, and had a play with Callum and Lockie there too. First time I think it's the first time I've met them. Well, first time I've met them when they've been old enough to like play and whatnot. Anyway, I would hazard a guess. So yeah, it was cool to meet them. And then the next day, Stephen took me out to some rock paintings in Karratha there, and they were actually really quite interesting. It was just sort of in this rocky gorge, or rocky valley more than a gorge. But yeah, and there were just heaps of them there. They were a little bit hard to see, but yeah, no, they were a nice little area there, and it was absolutely brilliant there too. And then yeah, quick go through Dampier and saw the statue of Red Dog there. Then yeah, that brings us up to yesterday, where I've rocked into Port Hedland and set up there on Point Cook Caravan Park. And we caught up with Alex Dandy last night and her friend Todd for dinner, so that was good. And yeah, today has just sort of been a general fix-up day. It's just past lunchtime, so you know, had mud flaps were coming off on the camper trailer, so I just sort of cut them off and redid them. Gave everything a bit of a clean. Did some shopping, got some, you know, going cheap Easter eggs, which was pretty cool. And yeah, organised a spare tyre, because yeah, by the time I get up to Gibb River Road, still fingers crossed it's going to be open. Yeah, I'll need a second spare tyre, I think. So yeah, organise that, which I'll be able to pick up in Broome at the end of the week, and yeah, should be all good there. And that brings us to today, where I'm now sitting doing another update. And like I said, it's bloody hot up here. There's a bit of a breeze kicking up now, which is cooling it down, but yeah, no, it's still hot. So yeah, from here the plan is to go. I'm sort of tossing up whether to stop at 80 Mile Beach or Pardew on the way up to Broome, but there will be a stop in there, just not sure where just yet. Then Broome for a couple of days, then Derby, and all things going well, Gibb River Road. And then through to Kununurra, and now we're almost to Northern Territory then, almost out of WA. So yeah, next update I do will probably be in the Northern Territory or very close to it. So yeah, thanks for listening. See ya.